Do you see this win potentially allowing Austin Cindric, that two team, to build momentum and start having better finishes going out?
I certainly think it's possible, and this kind of feels like part of Cindric's gradual progression to being a cup level star. And more so, what I mean by that is he, obviously lit the stage on fire by winning the Daytona 500 and only his eighth start in the series back in 2022. But after that, he really wasn't all that remarkable, which, isn't a knock against him. It was more so, in my opinion, having to do with the Ford Mustang of the time. And I feel like that rough sophomore season in 2023 helped him, kind of regroup and kind of reassess where he needed to strengthen his game. And ultimately, he came into last season, looked very strong, especially at the super speedway tracks, and showed a lot of strength, particularly at Gateway prior to passing his teammate who had run out of fuel on the final lap and gaining that second victory of his career. And it's important to remember that Austin Cindric, to this point, has not, despite his inexperience, has not been knocked out in the round of 16. And he's made two playoff appearances, 2022 and 2024, where he had a pretty solid shot to make it forward in the playoffs. And for one reason or another, we can point to this particular track last year as a pretty glaring example of why he didn't make it to the round of 8 last year. I just think that Austin Cindric has slowly but surely been maturing behind the scenes as a race car driver. Now, granted, he has had some dust ups already this year. Ty Dillon at Coda. I think he dumped somebody somewhere else, and I can't quite remember. It must have been Martinsville, but regardless, he has had some run-ins this year that kind of make you question, like, hey, what are you doing? But races like today kind of reinforce why this guy is an Xfinity Series champion, a Daytona 500 champion, and, obviously worthy of taking the number 2 car in this sport. He has a very dedicated team behind him. He clearly works really hard at his craft, and it's great to see him, kind of start to put the pieces together. Now, I still need to see him have a bit more speed at intermediate tracks, which, if you remember from his Xfinity Series career, it did take him a little while to get up to speed at those tracks. So it doesn't really surprise me in the Cup Series that with a completely different platform, we're having a similar issue with him. But if he can start putting himself in better position to win at road courses and at super speedways and at all the intermediate and short tracks, then I think he can really start to put himself amongst the top drivers of the sport. But I still need to see him win more than one race in a season before I really start to, get some confidence in him. But there are 17 more races to go before the regular season ends. 16, pardon me. There's 16 more races before the regular season ends, and I'm sure that Austin and the two team will craft something together throughout the regular season to perhaps put themselves back in victory lane yet again.